Hey, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do the topic, why are you beautiful today? So this could also be like beautiful, amazing, wonderful. So my hope for this reading is that anytime you need a little pick-me-up, you can just come here and pick a pile, and I can tell you something true and wonderful about how you are today. Even if you're feeling like you have a down day, or you just need a little encouragement. So that's what we're doing for today's reading. And we have 12 piles, as you can see. They're all from the Gummy Bear Tarot, starting with pile 1, the upper left, all the way to pile 12 in the lower right. Feel free to either pick a number or see if there's a particular card that is calling to you, and I will see you at your reading. Hey, pile 1, let's see what is beautiful about you today. We have the Devil in reverse. What's beautiful about you is you have let go the things that are toxic in your life, whether those have been relationships, addictions, ways of thinking, family patterns, trauma, whatever it was that was hurting you that you knew was not good for you anymore, you've let go, and that is beautiful. And if you think that's just like part of growing up or part of being a healthy person, it is not, because a lot of people talk about that or want that and really are never able to make those shifts. I mean, don't we all know that person that seems to just compound their trauma? And what's that quote? There's a quote that says something like, you'll either heal your trauma or project it out onto others. You are beautiful, pile 1, because you are healing your trauma. And you will not be the person that projects all of your problems out onto everybody else, which is amazing. And you may not see this because it's hard to see how far you've come. But if you think about the you from a year ago, I'm actually hearing from a year ago, like you don't even have to go back 5 years or 10 years. Spirit's telling me that there's so many things you can notice between the you of today versus the you 1 year ago at this time. All the different ways that you've grown and expanded, and you love yourself more, you love others more, you're more connected to spirit, to the universe. And this is something to absolutely celebrate and is such a beautiful thing about you. And I just want to tap in here for a moment about how this is noticed by others. Okay, so I'm going to do my best at describing this, but can you feel the difference when you're with someone who seems like they're truly there, truly listening to you, truly attuned, versus someone that's like reacting or waiting for their turn to talk, or kind of like festering and jumpy to get a word in edgewise or something, that kind of energy. Like you bring that very settled, present, attuned energy. And once you start noticing that in people and being around people that have it, it's like there's nothing more magical and amazing than that. And you have that, pile 1. You should be really proud, and it is absolutely a beautiful thing about you. Thank you so much for coming by the channel. Would love it if you'd like, share, or subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, pile 2, thanks for coming today. Let's see what is beautiful about you. We have the World. Well, if there's something that you just posted on social media or on the internet, maybe there was an article written about you, maybe a photo, whatever you just released out to the world is so beautiful. So this could have been on the internet, or it could just be a way that you've stepped out more. Like maybe you were a leader at an event or a conference, maybe you had a speaking engagement. And can I say you were looking especially fine? And if you are a woman or if you have tatas, they were on point. That is standing out to me. I've never noticed in this card that this bear has boobs, but there they are. What else is especially beautiful about you? I think there's a sense of well-roundedness that I get with this card, especially with the 4 different zodiac signs. We have one of each house here. It's not the houses. What are they? Elements. One of each element. So that to me speaks that you brought, your mental body online, your physical body, your spiritual body, as well as your emotions all together. And there's something just very attractive and attracting, and by that I mean you drew people in, almost like a tractor beam. And you might have noticed this if you pay attention to how people seem to interact with you. And there were at least several people that you noticed that were feeling very drawn to you. And it's reminding me of that statistic about, just if one person is drawn to you, that means there are many more who were feeling it but didn't take action. So I'm not sure what the percentage is. If anyone else knows, feel free to put it in the comments. But I know for this is for like praise and complaints, but like for every person that complains about a service, like let's say at a restaurant, there are something like 4 to 5 more people that wanted to complain that didn't. And for positive feedback, it's even a bigger disparity. So like for every one person that says something positive to you, it's something like 8 or 9 people that heard or felt the same thing and didn't. So if by any chance you did hear some positive feedback, but you were a little discouraged about how small it was or something like that, just know that there were many more people who were impacted by you that did not disclose that. And what else? What's beautiful about you? Whatever this is that you were doing, whether it was just like a photo posted online or you were a public speaker, there was something about you, your essence, your life force, your authenticity that really shone through in that, and inspired others to also be authentic with themselves. So good on you, pile 2. That was amazing. If it was anything available online, feel free to post it in the comments. That'd be cool to see, so we can all ooh and ah over your shininess in that moment. And thank you so much for coming by. Feel free to like, comment, or subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey pile 3, thanks for being here. We are asking, what is beautiful about you today? And let's see what card you have. We have the 5 of Swords. Ooh. What's beautiful about you today? You stood up to that bully. You refuse to be swayed. You are selfish in the best sense of the word. You are not to be trifled with today. It's like you know what you want and you'll stop at nothing. This is determination with a capital D. It's I will not be pushed around. I will not be made to feel small. I am woman, hear me roar. I just heard, which I actually don't know who originally said that. Another quote I'm hearing is, a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. Very random and very old. 40 or 50 years old in that quote, I think, maybe longer. But there's something about you today where you're not to be effed with, and everyone around you can see it, pile 3, and it's like amazing and a little scary at the same time. I think people are like, whoa, let's not get on pile 3's bad side today, but like in a good way, not in that what is pile 3's problem, but more like, oh, I want pile 3 on my team. Like this is a righteous warrior. And I've noticed I've used some like female gendered language in this, so you might be a woman watching this pile, or you might just resonate with, I guess, like the vibe I'm getting from this of what's beautiful about you is someone who's like campaigning or championing either some kind of minority rights issue, So even if that's not what you're dealing with today, that's the energy you're bringing. Like, no, it's not okay for me to be discriminated against, or anyone to be discriminated against based on their race, sex, age, creed, any of it. So there's a real, like if there was going to be another card here, I would guess that it would be like the Justice card, or maybe even the Judgment card. So Major Arcana, something very strong, something very focused on what's right. And you just, like, there's no room for argument with you, pile 3, in the best way today. And that is a beautiful thing about you. So that was your reading today. I hope it resonated and provided some positive mirroring of what's going on with you, because, yeah, this is amazing. Feel free to share in the comments about what you're on today, pile 3, like what your cause is that's really close to your heart. And feel free to like or subscribe to the channel also, and I will see you in the next one. Hey pile 4, thank you for being here. Today we're asking, what is beautiful about you? And let's see what card you have. Death in reverse. Ooh. Beautiful about you, death in reverse. Well, the first thing that's coming through is ageless. So maybe you just, no matter what age you are, you always have a very youthful spirit, or this could be even physically, you look younger than you are. But even bigger than that, what I'm getting in terms like a trait of yours, it's like you refuse to change. And this is what's beautiful about you, because sometimes if someone refuses to change, like that's a bad thing. But this is coming through as something amazing and beautiful about you. So a few examples that are coming through my mind, like no matter what life has thrown at you, you refuse to get calloused or selfish or cold-hearted. You stay open to people. You stay open to yourself. You want to be compassionate and loving. Whatever your ideals are that you had from when you were small or when you were younger, even when it's inconvenient for you, you still hold on to those. The example that's coming to mind for me is wartime. And actually the example of Oskar Schindler is coming to mind, who, from Schindler's List, many of you have seen that movie, I'm sure, but basically someone who was very connected to the Nazis, had a lot of business associates, but used those to protect a lot of people and rescue many Jews from being sent to concentration camps or otherwise executed. And how that relates to you not changing, it's like, so in that example, I'm sure at some point had to realize like, okay, I'm in wartime, and these people that I've always kind of profited from and seen as my business connections are now on the side of evil and murdering innocent people. And what am I going to do? Well, I'm not going to overnight become a soldier. Like, I'm not a soldier. I'm a shrewd businessman. So I'm going to be a shrewd businessman and fight this fight the way that I know how. So there's something about, and I actually know several people like this. I'm married to one of them, in fact, where like when something like a war comes up, such as like the war in Ukraine, it's like this feeling comes over you of, I want to help, I want to do something, what can I do, who can I be, how can I support? And for some of us, that answer is, stand a post, go to the front line. And for some people that is the way, but for others, there's all different kinds of ways to participate, whether that's, supporting Ukrainian businesses or finding different ways to raise awareness in different countries outside of Ukraine, or visiting Ukraine, spending dollars there. I don't know, just a few examples. But there's something here with you where you refuse to change, even though like I think you feel pressure or maybe like an inner anxiety that you should be different. Another example of this might be like, let's say you're growing, you're aging, you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, and you still have some interests or behaviors that people would think of as much younger. This reminds me of my husband's grandmother, who was teaching clogging courses into her 80s, which I think is absolutely amazing. And I'm sure whether it was said to her or not, some people were saying like, aren't you a little too old for this or something? But that was such a beautiful thing about her. It's actually one of the things I remember most about her is that she was so vibrant and vivacious and alive, even though she was growing older in years. And I just think that's really inspiring because there really shouldn't be anything that's closed off to us just because of something as simple as age or location or whatever. So you really embody that, Pile 4, that you can be who you want to be, and pressure from the outside is not going to change that. Anything else for this Pile Spirit? Yeah, I think that's your reading. Okay, thank you, Pile 4. Thank you so much for coming by today. Would love to hear what you thought about this reading in the comments. If you want to leave a like, share, or subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Thank you. Hey, Pile 5, welcome to your reading. We're asking what is beautiful about you today? And let's see what card you have. The King of Swords in the reverse. Ooh, normally not a very nice character, the King of Swords in reverse. They are controlling, a dictator. This is how it's going to be, cold, unfeeling. For you to get this card as beautiful, it tells me a few things about you, Pile 5. It tells me that in the past, maybe you've struggled to maintain healthy boundaries. Maybe you have overgiven in relationships to your own detriment. Maybe it's been easier to emotionally manipulate you, even if people haven't intentionally done that, but it's like at some level, someone has known, whether they're a child or a friend or a family member. If I give Pile 5 a sob story, they'll support me. They'll give me whatever I need. I can play on their sympathies to take from them, essentially. But no more, not today. Not today, Satan, I just heard. Pile 5. It's like you have this sword up and you're like, you shall not pass. There is no stealing from anything that I've accumulated or fought so hard for. This belongs to me. I give if and when I choose, according to my pleasure, my decision. And I will not be controlled by those around me who have expectations of me or want things to be one way or the other. And this is beautiful about you, Pile 5. You know, it can be really hard to shift into this energy, especially if you've been in a more purely empathic one, because it's very triggering. And it's something that I feel like we could talk about more as empaths, like how much guilt and shame you have to be willing to feel to be able to have healthy boundaries. Because that's, I mean, I think we all in our mind, it's like, I mean, for myself, oh yeah, I want healthy boundaries. I want good relationships. But am I always willing to feel the overwhelming guilt and shame and like ego attacks from saying no or being mean, quote unquote, to somebody? Like sometimes that's really hard. So that's why you're beautiful, Pile 5, because you love yourself enough to say like, it's okay. It's okay to say no, even though that person really does need help, because it's not my job. And I can't give love to somebody. If I can't give love to someone else and also give love to myself at the same time, then it's not in alignment and it's not good for either of us. And I'm believing and trusting in that now. And if you don't think that's beautiful, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that is so inspiring. I wish I could like create a poll on this channel of anyone watching here who would be inspired by that. And I feel like almost every hand would go up. It's truly amazing, Pile 5. Keep doing you, keep growing in this area. Don't worry if at first it comes out a little bit harsh or a little bit too controlling or over the top. Like, nobody ever gets to exactly where they need to go the first time. We always overdo it a little bit, right? The example I always think of is with dieting, which I'm not actually a fan of dieting. Diet culture, I just think, has been very harmful. But anyway, let's just say creating healthier habits for yourself. It's not like you can go from having terrible health habits to then having good ones just by like taking a small step. Usually most of us swing to being like overly strict for a while first and learning how that feels, and then finding a balance in the middle. And so you've just found yourself more on the opposite side of being a little bit extra on the controlling side. And it's important, it's valuable for you to learn that. Be patient and compassionate with yourself, just as you are doing. It's beautiful. You are loved. You are amazing. And I'm so happy that you can see that, Pile 5, even if the messages you get from other people around you aren't consistent that way. So that was your reading. Thank you so much for being here. Leave a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you at the next one. Hey, Pile 6, what is beautiful about you? Let's find out. Thank you for coming to my channel today. I appreciate you. We have the 9 of Wands in the reverse. So when this card is upright, I really get a very defensive vibe. Like, I'm going to get to where I need to go and nothing will stop me, and don't even tell me what I'm doing is wrong. It's like there's some level of defensiveness that has been released by you, pile 6. And for some of you, it's almost like you realize that pushing to the end of something isn't necessary or doesn't serve you, and you're willing to quit. I don't feel like this is talked about enough. Maybe I don't talk about it enough. Like quitting, especially if you're very determined, like never say die kind of person, sometimes quitting is the best medicine. It's a reason I love the Enneagram, because like what's really good advice for one person is terrible advice for somebody else. And I'm sure you can imagine, like for some people saying like just quit, just give up is like the worst thing you could tell them, because they really need to create that trust in themselves to have discipline and to really finish something. But you are not that person, are you, pile 6? You know how to finish things. You know how to stay. You know how to be loyal. You know how to go down with the ship. And the thing that's beautiful about you is, for such a loyal, committed person, you're saying, I will not commit to this if it is destructive to us both. Or I will not stay in this job and value this company more than myself. Or I will not show up for this family if it means I can't show up for my own self. And so you're changing the narrative on that. And there's something about that makes you also more receptive and less defensive. It's almost like in the past, if anyone said like, hey friend, pile 6, like I hate to tell you, but that relationship you're in, it's terrible. Or that job is sucking you dry. It's like you would feel the need to defend that. Like, oh no, this person really loves me. Or no, this job has great benefits and I'm getting such great experience. It's like you weren't able to take that in. But now you see like, oh, loyalty is important, but it's not everything. And in some ways it makes it easier for others to take advantage of me because I won't leave. And that's not good for them. It's not good for me, certainly. So sometimes I need to quit something. Another example is coming to mind from my own life. And this was, I started training for a marathon. I was 29 years old. I wanted to run a marathon before I was 30. And I started having major health issues. Like everything about my body was like, do not do this to me. Like I am not okay. And it took me a long time to listen to that. But eventually I decided to not actually do the race. I still did 26 miles like on my own, like around my house, running, but I didn't participate in the race. And to me, that was like one of the hardest decisions I've had to make, probably top 10 hardest decisions of my life, but it was really important for me to learn how to say, okay, I thought this was going to be a good thing, and it turned out that it's not okay for me anymore, and to say no. And that is a beautiful thing about you, pile 6, because it's like you're putting your ego aside, and so you're illustrating that for other people too. But actually forget that. Who cares about other people? Like for you. Like just think about how this feels in your body, in your heart, in your mind, to say, I am still lovable. I am still okay, even if I don't achieve this thing, even if I don't finish my PhD, even if I don't follow through with hanging out with that person for coffee today, even though I said I would. Whatever, it could be big or small, but you are choosing to honor yourself instead of this achievement, this responsibility, this commitment you've made. And sometimes that's the most beautiful thing you can do. So that was your reading, pile 6. I would love to hear about it in the comments if you want to share. Also, feel free to like, share, or subscribe to the channel if you would like more updates like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, pile 7, thanks for being here. We are asking what's beautiful about you today, and let's see what cards you have. Ooh, the Ace of Wands. Oh, you are sexy today. You have got it. So if you know tarot, you know the Ace of Wands. To me, it's like the whoop card. It's like turning on yourself and everyone else around you. But you know where it comes from? It comes from you channeling this energy within yourself. Like, have you ever seen somebody that's fully hot, that doesn't have like a fire of passion burning in themselves? Like, that's what makes them hot. It's like and I know I'm talking about this in a very like, I don't know what word to use, what kind of way, objectifying maybe. But I'm just talking about the energy, like this fire energy. It's like you've got it and people can sense it from you. And this actually has nothing to do with how you look like. Like you could be 21 years old, you could be 71, you could be in sweats and totally frumpy, you could be all done up. You could have had a haircut recently or not showered in 5 days. It actually doesn't matter. It's the energy, it's energetic. And so what's beautiful about you is that you have this fire coursing through you that is palpable, that like interacts with the cells of other people and causes them to awaken and enliven. And this is, I'm hearing like it's energetic, but it's also mysterious. It's like, there's something esoteric about this. Like if I were to pick another card to put right here, I'd pick the Queen of Wands. Number one, she's like the, to me, like the sex pot of the deck, but also she is just very intuitive and esoteric and connected to all different dimensions of herself. And people immediately sense this about you, pile 7. And again, I feel the need to reiterate, doesn't matter what you look like. If you can see me, I am like closing my eyes, clapping my hands. Not about what you look like, not about whether, you know, how tall you are, how old you are, makeup, no makeup. If you're a man, like your net worth, your connections, your smile, your face, your anything, none of it. It's not physical, it's energetic. And you are very attractive right now. You have got it. If you're thinking about like wanting to get back out there romantically, if that in any way is a question in your mind coming to this reading, the answer is yes, go. Like right now, stop watching this video, go meet somebody. If you're at a restaurant or bar, make eyes at someone. Okay, this is an interesting thing to share that I haven't in a very long time. So when I was younger in my dating days before I got married, this was many years ago, 20 maybe, I ended up like it was an accident. I was engaged to someone else and that didn't end well. We didn't end up getting married because it wasn't a good fit. And at the start of our relationship, I had thought like, this person is everything I want. And so at the end of the relationship, I was like, okay, my picker is broken. I obviously know nothing about how to find a good relationship because I thought this was the one for me and turned out like to be a disaster. Like he lied to me, he stole from me, like all of it. So, I started reading books and about dating and all this stuff. And the thing that stood out to me the most that I hadn't really considered before was about this concept of energetics in dating and just being in public in general. I feel like this applies even more today, like in the age of smartphones than, you know, back in the flip phone era. And when was I dating last? 2005? Oh my goodness. Anyway, so what this book talked about was how many men don't, and this was specifically gendered, so just if the genders don't apply, please rearrange for yourself. But this was a book about women who wanted to date men. And it talked about how the biggest reason women aren't approached for dates is actually not their looks, it's their openness and their availability and their like come hitherness, I guess I would say it this way. And so there was an exercise suggested in this book amongst many, and if you have interest in this, maybe I could do a video on it or something to share all these little juicy tidbits I used that really made a big difference for me in my dating days, but mostly in like how I felt. I didn't have a lot of trouble finding dates so much as feeling totally authentic while I was doing it. Okay, wow, such a long preamble, and here we are to the thing I've been wanting to tell you, which is the suggestion was to make eye contact with people. I mean, and actually they suggested you start with anybody just to practice, because like starting by making eye contact with someone you're attracted to is like really overwhelming, let me tell you. But they suggested that you find a person once per day to make eye contact with for 3 seconds. Do you know how long 3 seconds is? It's a long time. It's a very long time. 1, 2, 3. And staring into somebody's eyes that long, can you imagine like the energetic, especially if you have this fire going through you and locking eyes with someone that way? That's so powerful. It's like, whew, I'm getting hot just thinking about it. Anyway, they ran this experiment where they actually it's kind of a bummer that they did it this way, but they had a certain number of women who were just like normal, meaning like not wearing all the makeup, not dressed up like they were trying to go out and get a date, and they also had other women who were like really trying, let's say like objectively more attractive to the male gaze at that time in the US. I'm triggering myself with how I'm talking about this, accepting myself and moving on. Anyway, the people that did the eye contact thing, regardless of how they presented themselves otherwise, were approached more, had more dates, more of those dates turned into like positive relationships or connections. And I just thought that was very interesting. Like, okay, so it really does just come down to like, am I emotionally available? Am I signaling to someone, yes, I want a relationship? And let's ask ourselves now, like, how many of us out in public make any kind of overture or sign that we are open and available to anyone? I mean, I don't. I'm looking at my phone, or I'm focused on where I'm going, if I'm walking into public transportation or something, or I'm closing my eyes and meditating. Like, I'm not there to like interact with what's around me. So I'm hoping for those of you that are still listening that was useful for you in some way. Just this eye contact thing, like try it, see what happens. Especially if you feel like, okay, like, yeah, I know I'm attractive. I know I have this fire running through me, but why am I not getting approached? That would be a first step for you, Pile 7. If you do that, please let me know how it goes. Wishing you all the best. So that was your reading, Pile 7. Please leave me a like, comment, or subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Pile 8, let's get it. We are looking at why you are beautiful today. The Tower in reverse. So the Tower upright, I get as like, you know, when you see someone and you're so attracted to them, it kind of makes your world slow down or stop for a moment. That's how I get the Tower upright. Even though this is reversed, I'm getting that same vibe for you. And the other thing is you are indestructible. There's something so strong and resilient about you. So I'm getting that this is especially coming from, if any of you have picked this pile with somebody in mind for some reason from the past, or people you used to be around or hang out with, the thing that is just like shining about you is how you cannot be tainted. I'm hearing you cannot be torn down, you cannot be stopped, you cannot be destroyed. You know what's coming to mind is actually, I'm having so many Ukraine references in my videos right now. It's really interesting to me, but I'm hoping there's at least one person out there that appreciates them. So it makes me think of the national anthem of Ukraine, which if you ever actually listen to the lyrics, it's very interesting, because even though this was written very many years ago, the lyrics say things like, Ukraine will not be destroyed, our enemies will not triumph over us, we will not be snuffed out, we will not be erased. Which, I mean, I could cry about, like, to have that so deeply in your fabric as a nation is a big deal. But I feel like you as a person, you embody that as a person. Like, I am Pile 8. I will not be erased. I will not be, like, no one puts baby in a corner. I'm hearing from Dirty Dancing from the 80s. I will not be held down. I am me. I have every right to live this life, be in the world as much as anyone else, take up as much space as anyone else, and I will do it. And that is so magical and inspiring, pile 8. And I think like you want to be a positive influence for others, but what I'm more getting for you is that it's for you. Like there's a really important part of that message for you to say to yourself, like, yes, pile 8, myself, my inner child, I love you. There is nothing wrong with you. You have the right to exist. You have the right to take up space. No one should keep you down. No one should abuse you. I will protect you. It's you and me forever. No one else matters. Nothing else matters. We will survive. We will thrive. And that is felt. And if you think people don't notice that, like they do. That's why I think energetics, it's just so interesting, because I'm sure you don't go walking around saying any of those things, even to yourself, and certainly not to other people. But others get that vibe from you. They get the message. And there's respect and admiration that comes because of that. And from me too, I have to say, for me personally, like this, I think that's one of the most painful wounds a person can have is either you don't deserve to exist, or you're a burden, or you don't matter, or you're insignificant. Like I can dismiss you, I can ignore you. It's like how they say the silent treatment is the most psychologically damaging form of conflict or punishment, because it's so like dehumanizing. To me, this is like that, but in a childhood trauma form, I guess. And you refuse to continue that pattern. You're rewriting that script for yourself. Amazing, amazing pile 8. Seriously, I hope you feel that today and know it, and continue sharing it with yourself. That was your reading. Please leave me a like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, pile 9, let's see what is beautiful about you today. Ooh, we have a sticky one here. Is there something sticky about you? Did you use like something in your hair that's really sticky, or sunscreen maybe? We've got the sun here. What's beautiful about you today? Well, you could be riding a horse, or maybe you did recently, or I'm even getting like for some, this is reminding me randomly of a motorcycle. I'm hearing The Steel Horse I Ride, Bon Jovi. Seriously, someone let me know if there's at least one person on my channel that is like a huge 80s and 90s American pop culture person, because I don't think about these references in my normal life, and I come and do these videos and it's like every 80s and 90s movie and music comes into my mind. I'm sure it's also just me, but I feel like there's at least one of you out there that is stimulating this in me. So let me know, would you? Would love that. Anyway, Steel Horse I Ride, which is a song by Bon Jovi. What is the title? Not remembering. But it's one of his more famous ones. Their more famous ones. You could be wearing flowers in your hair. You could be like sun-kissed, like you've been spending a lot of time. It's summer right now when I'm recording this. Maybe you've been by the pool. Maybe you've been at the beach and you have just a little bit of tan, and that's like, I'm hearing like beautiful, but also kind of sexy on you, pile 9. There's something that you do with flowers. Maybe for some of you, you actually like press flowers or cook with flowers or draw flowers. There's something connected to flowers that you do that's really amazing. I'm drawn also to the flag. Did you put a flag outside your house recently, or in some way like show your colors? Like what would be another example of this? Maybe you put a bumper sticker on your car that says your beliefs. Maybe you got a tattoo that's really meaningful to you. That is especially a tattoo that's very visible that people would ask about, and then you would explain like, well, yeah, it's this, it's my, I don't know, my sister's initials, or me and my sister got this together, you know, something like that. That's really beautiful and meaningful for you. What else here? I think there's just something also that happens to you personally when you go out in the sun. Maybe you have this experience of like going outside and it almost feels like, oh, the sun loves me. Like this is where I'm meant to be, like out in the sun. Hey sun, it's you and me, pal. Like I love you, you love me. And there's something radiant I'm hearing that comes out of you when you're in that space. It could be as simple as you're a Leo. For those of you that are my astrology fans, you certainly don't have to be. There's more than just Leos in this pile. But what's beautiful about you is like whichever these specifics apply to you, the beautiful part that's coming out, it's like that glow. So in the example of like getting a little tan, you know how like it's still that same person, but there just seems like they're rosier, they have this different color that's shining through them. Same if you're wearing flowers on you or in your hair. It's like it just brings a little freshness or vivaciousness to you. And that little spark is really beautiful. My mind right now is being drawn to, yet again, a 90s reference. This is an obscure one too, I think, relatively so. Jennifer Aniston, and she was in a movie. The movie was called Picture Perfect. Is that right? Picture Perfect. And wow, I have not thought about this in so long, 20 years at least, I would think. Maybe it's been 15. Anyway, if you have an interest to, see if you can find that movie. There's something about Jennifer Aniston in that movie, who I wouldn't even like consider myself like a huge fan generally of Jennifer Aniston. I don't like not like her either, but it's kind of like meh, whatever to me. However, in that movie, there's a few moments, in particular one. Why is my throat chakra like closing up? What is happening right now? The middle of the movie, she goes to some like fancy dinner with this guy. She's pretending to be her boyfriend, and she's in this green dress. And yes, like she's glamorous and beautiful and stuff and whatever. But there's something about that really stands out to me that reminds me of this. So if you're by any chance wanting to check out a 90s movie and get a sense of the feeling of this glow, of this radiance, check out that movie, and in particular Jennifer Aniston in the green dress. It's somewhere in the middle. If anyone does that, I would be so tickled if you leave a comment and let me know what you thought, because that just feels like it's got to be for one person, you know, that whole diatribe there. So for those of you that have no interest or will never go watch an obscure Jennifer Aniston movie, how can I describe the feeling of that? I'm gonna do my best. The radiance and what's beautiful about you. It's like there's some way that you present yourself that is exactly you. So with the example of the movie, maybe the dress is exactly her color. Maybe it fits her just right. I actually don't remember well enough to tell you. But there's something also with you, with the flowers, with the riding of the horses, with the being outside in the sun, whichever the thing is that you resonated with in that list. Not only does it bring this glow out in you, it highlights something unique about you, something authentic about you that is so, like, blinding is actually the word that I'm hearing. I would totally use that for Jennifer Aniston in that movie too, who I keep talking about. I'm annoying myself. Oh my gosh. But it's blinding in its brilliance. Like, let's say when you ride a horse, there is something, a glow that comes out in you because it's something you love or is such a part of you. That glow that comes out and that radiance is so beautiful. It's like blinding. It's like looking into the sun. It's almost something people can't look at for too long because it's too much. Like they would cry or they would get obsessed or transfixed or something. And if you think about it, pile 9, you might be able to pinpoint a time or two where you've caught a look like that in someone's face or had that feeling. Yeah, this is so interesting to me. I just have to say, like, I want to know how this works, like energetically or scientifically, which I may never, but that is your reading, pile 9. That is what is beautiful about you today. I really hope it resonated, and I extra hope that you will talk about it, because please help me learn what's happening here and what this is for you. I'm so curious. I would really appreciate it. And please feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for being here. Hey, pile 10, we are looking at what is beautiful about you today. Can I just say, I'm so happy that you clicked on this today, especially you. I've kind of said that in every pile, but there's something about you here in pile 10. I'm extra glad that you clicked on this today. I feel like you could have seen this title and been like, I don't need to feel beautiful. Do I even resonate with the word beautiful? Or even worse, like, there's nothing beautiful about me. And I don't mean worse in like a shamey way, pile 10. There's no space for that here. But I mean, maybe you just thought, like, I don't even know if I want to go there today. And I'm excited to see what cards you have, because I feel like Spirit is on to you with this and really wants to tell you something. So let's see what it is. The 5 of Wands. Oh my. I can understand why. Yep, I can understand why. What is beautiful about you, pile 10? I'm just going to take my time with this message. The way that you fight is beautiful. It's messy. It's embarrassing at times. You may say things that you don't mean or that you regret, or in ways that you're not proud of, or you might feel embarrassed about how you come across or how someone receives you. But how someone reacts in the moment when you bring conflict to their door is different from the long-term impact. And I think that you've had a lot of experiences, pile 10, where someone's reacted very negatively to you in the moment, and only after time. Sometimes it's a few minutes, for others it's hours, days, weeks, years, decades for a few of you. But when that time has passed, and when the truth and the love that you were bringing to the conversation, when the truth and the love fully hit that person, it's life-changing. Like, I'm really struggling to not cry with this pile, because I think that there have been many, many times when you have come to a moment where you've needed to speak your truth and you've been shaking in your shoes to do it. You've brought as much love as you've known how to bring to that moment, and you've been hit with the full force of that person's reaction. I'm actually not blaming that other person either, because I think in most cases they reacted the best that they could. And sometimes that was truly awful for you, pile 10. I'm not discounting that either. I'm just saying there's compassion for all involved. But one thing, so one thing that Spirit's wanting to say that's really beautiful about you is how willing you are to receive that person's reaction to you, how understanding you are, that the things that you say are sometimes hard to hear, that it doesn't feel like love to be confronted, that being told no is painful or difficult. And you have such deep empathy, like you're able to hold yourself and the other person in that conversation. And I don't know that you always see it. You maybe have seen it, I'm going to say once in your lifetime up to this point. It will be more in the future, I'm hearing. But maybe once in your lifetime in the past, you've received someone else's gratitude for the way that you've been in conflict, and for the things that you've said, and the care and the love that you've shown, even when it's been a harsh truth or something difficult. You're the person that will say the thing that no one else wants to say. can we just like acknowledge what a burden that is, pile 10? Like, first of all, the burden of knowing the thing that nobody else knows, and then actually being willing to say it to everyone else and receive the backlash. It takes such a strong person to do either one of those things, much less both. And it's so beautiful about you. And I don't like the word beautiful here. I'm kind of understanding now your reaction to this reading and the word beautiful. So let me see if I can get a better word. Not magical. Impactful. It's certainly impactful, but that's not quite it. Give me a moment. Feels important. So the word is nurturing, actually, which I think you really feel at some level, even if you're angry, even if you're coming in with like a righteous anger at someone about something, underneath it all is love. You're coming with, like I'm seeing the Empress card in my mind. You're coming with the intent to tend, to nurture, to support, to care, to heal. And how rare is that? Like, do you know anyone else like you? Anyone else who can do that? Who can say, this thing is hurting you and it's hurting me, and I'm so angry about it, and I'm here for you. I want to hear your reaction. I want to work through it together. I want to see us both grow. Who can do that? I'm not surprised that Spirit's wanting to talk to you about this today, and why maybe for many of you, you don't see this as beautiful or nurturing or magical, because you do not get that feedback. You do not get that feedback. But a reaction is just a reaction. It's not the truth. I think you know that better than anyone, pile 10. Let me just see if there's anything else here. There is such a long list of people who are grateful to you for telling them the truth. And if you wrote a list of 10 people that hate me the most, I think it would be that same list, pile 10. Because you just get a lot of, what's a better word than reaction or backlash? Fear. I think you get a lot of fear and just people not knowing how to handle themselves, so they just, both barrels get directed at you. But it's really an amazing quality that you have, pile 10, and I would even say it's like a service to the universe. So if you've seen this as a character flaw of yours, or something you need to heal from, or something you need to change, like the only thing around this that needs to heal and change is the way you can sometimes hear someone's reaction and then attack yourself. That needs support and compassion, the same compassion you'd offer to anyone else. And the other thing is, so this is not even coming through as something for you to work on. It's not that kind of reading anyway. This is what's amazing and beautiful about you. But there are times where you could use a more compassionate or more clear word. I think it's why Spirit has been asking me to be so specific with the words in this reading, to show you the difference in the impact. So when I say what's beautiful about you versus when I say what's nurturing about you, like I can barely get it out. I'm sure you can hear in my voice, like energetically tapping into your field, your energy field, and reading this for you. The difference in those two words is palpable. One is like, Beautiful is like, yeah, I don't know. And nurturing is like, oh my God, I've never been so seen and understood. And so there's a similar thing that happens when you choose your words to share with someone. I think you're always bringing the truth, you're always bringing love, but there are times where you could choose a word that has more impact and less reactivity. And sometimes these are like quote unquote negative words, like instead of saying, you know, I told you how I felt and you gaslit me, saying something like, I told you how I felt and you weren't able to receive me. I felt dismissed. It's a similar message, but the receiver, it's a different experience. Anyway, again, Spirit's not wanting to highlight that, but I think, or not wanting to highlight it as like, hey, you need to work on this, but just it's an awareness piece for you right now. And if it's a moment for you to hear that, you'll feel that. Back to what's nurturing about you. Your willingness to tell the truth, to say the hard thing, to fight for what's healthy and positive in a situation it's overwhelming. I'm overwhelmed by the strength and the beauty and intentionality, the nurturing, the love, all of it, the strength. I said that already. One more time. I'm going to pick a different word than strength. Resilience, determination, resilience is it's like it's inspiring in that way where I didn't know a person could do this. I didn't know humans could be like this. I didn't know conflict could be like this. And I think if you, oh boy, here's the moment where I realize I'm going to pick this pile later. Damn. What I was going to say though is if you think back, I think there's a moment where there's someone in your life who said, oh, that's what that is what this can be like. Like we can talk about something hard and it can feel like this. There's been someone at some moment, even if it was small, who said something like that to you, but that is the feeling, that is the nurturing that you deliver. And I'm just being reminded right now of someone that says something like that to me. It's coming through my mind. So I'm feeling extra connected to you, Pile 10, and extra grateful that you came today, that you decided to click on this despite your resistance, and that I was chosen to deliver this message. And I'm hopeful that my voice breaking and the crying wasn't too distracting for you to get what you needed from this today, from Spirit. So that was your reading, and I hope it was helpful for you. Please leave a like or comment or subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more like this, and I'll see you next time. Pile 11, hey girl, hey, or you don't have to be a girl, you know, hey boy, hey you. Let's see what cards you have, and we have the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. What's beautiful about you? I'm sorry, I should have probably paused the video for a second because I just did a bunch of crying in Pile 10 and I thought I was totally here, and now I'm realizing I need a moment, so apologies. What's beautiful about Pile 11? It was helpful for me just to disclose that, and now I can focus. 9 of Pentacles in reverse. So I think you've always been very, or if not always, recently at least, you've been very independent, self-sufficient, not dependent on anyone else in a way that's codependent. I'm saying variances of dependent a lot here. But it's like there's something, maybe there's been even like a hyper independence for you in your past, like even like messages like, I don't need anybody, I don't want to depend on anyone, I don't need you, you need me kind of feelings. You may not have said this to yourself or anyone, but like the emotion has been there to some degree. And what's beautiful about you is you are learning healthy interdependence. So not, I can't live without you and that like clinginess, but more, I want to support your life. I want you to support mine. I'm here for you. I want you to be here for me. And we can experience that together. So I think there's something about this too that's like very new for you. Maybe it hasn't felt safe for you to show up this way up until now. And so I'm also wondering for some of you if you in the past have been very quick to cut things off, cut people off, or cut situations off. I'm very aware that I came into this pile like in not the ideal professional state to start your pile. I also know there's been some background noise in the last couple minutes. And so maybe for some of you, you would have been the kind of person in the past that's like, you know, screw this. Like, I don't need this. I don't have to deal with this. I deserve better. And you're not wrong for that. You weren't wrong for that in the past, but there's something about that that's like falling away for you a bit, or you're not needing to protect yourself in the same way that you used to. And the way you used to be wasn't bad. I'm hearing that really clearly. Like there was something that you needed through that set of behaviors of being Nine of Pentacles upright that was really important for you at that time. And now you're in a different time where it's not the same needs that you used to have. And what you need now is to learn how to depend on others, how to trust. Where can you soften your boundaries in a way that's helpful? And the way that you're doing that is like in the manner of someone doing it for the first time. And this is beautiful because it's very clear to others like how vulnerable you're making yourself. And I'm not saying you're being too vulnerable, like you're doing it exactly right, I'm hearing, but you're doing it such a small step at a time that it makes it obvious to others that trusting someone is very new for you, and that it's something you are surrendering to the universe to allow in your life, and that it's a challenge. It's a big deal. So, I mean, have you ever observed this in someone, pile 11, where you saw somebody like going deeper with a friend or disclosing a secret or asking for help when they've never done that before? Like those things are really significant. Asking for help has always been something really hard for me. And this is reminding me of, this was a couple years ago, and I asked a friend to meet me at a particular store because I didn't know what kind of brand to pick for something, which seems so small, maybe like a very normal like friend request to somebody else, like, hey, let's go shopping. I'd love your opinion on XYZ. But to me, that felt like, I'm not going to ask for somebody's help for that. It was really interesting to me at the time, like how triggering that was. But it was actually a big exercise in trust for me to follow through and say like, hey, I feel like I need help, and I specifically want your help. Like that was a big step, even though it would have looked small to anyone else. And I think she even said that to me at the time. She's like, okay, like not a thing. So it's something really beautiful about you, pile 11, and even more so than how it's being observed by the people around you. You're interacting with yourself differently, and that's really amazing. Anything else, Spirit, for pile 11? So if you've been frustrated with yourself in this area, and let's say your ability to trust, what I'm hearing for this pile is a promise, and I'm hearing that word literally like a promise. You will have a depth of richness in your life and in your relationships that you've never experienced before. And it's because of your willingness to take these baby steps with trust. And so if you've been frustrated with yourself about the intimacy in your relationships or your ability to be interdependent, like that is not going to be your story in the future. You're doing exactly what you need to do. It's amazing. It's inspiring. It's beautiful. You're seen, you're loved, and the universe is cheering you on. And not a small number of your friends and family as well, who are just like proud of you maybe, but proud's not the word so much as like, it just makes them burst open with love for you because they know how much more love you're going to be able to receive now. And so they want to just kind of gush all over you. So if you're experiencing that, that is why, pile 11. So that was your reading. I hope it resonated for you and you found it helpful in some way. Please leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Number 12, here we go. Last but not least. And what's beautiful about you? The Knight of Wands. Ooh, well, you are led by spirit, led by impulse, by whatever hits you that day as important, as magical, as especially something that you should attune to. And it's bringing a bunch of different phrases to mind, like, the world is ours, the world is your oyster, like, let's go, like, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die, the best time is yesterday. Like, there's just lots of ways that you inspire yourself and others to not wait, to go for it, to make something happen. And it's a really amazing thing about you, pile 12. It's like, I actually haven't done this for any other pile, and there have been a lot of them. We're on pile 12 right now, but I want to pull a clarifier for you, because I think for at least one of you out there, you might have some kind of negative stigma or association with the Knight of Wands. So for pile 12, please, Spirit, what's a companion card for them? It's interesting too. Oh my goodness. Did you see what just happened? Well, you probably can't, but we got all of these. So what I'm getting from that is that there's many for each of you. So the one that I draw might not be exactly perfect, but we're gonna go with it. So 10 of Cups. You unreservedly go for what you want and what makes you happy. You figure out what is going to make me feel amazing in this moment, and you go after it. And people see this and they're just like, oh, I could do that. I could live like that. I could actually go for what I want. I heard this is not that long ago, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. I heard someone say, like, prioritizing your happiness is a choice, and most people don't do that. And I didn't realize until that moment that I hadn't been prioritizing happiness. I was prioritizing what I should do, what's responsible, what meets my goals, what aligns with my priorities or others' expectations of me, what will make me money, what's morally correct, like a whole list of things, not what will make me happy. And aligning to what will make me happy has been one of the best guides I have had in my life, I have to say, because I can really trust, because I think, very oriented to like growing and being a healthy person. I can trust what I want. So even if I want something destructive, I'm not going to want it for long. I'm going to learn in my body, like, oh, I actually don't like this. I don't want this. And I will shift. So there's something similar with you, pile 12, where you inspire yourself and others to actually be yourself and actually live your life. I wish there was a stronger way to say those things because they sound so simple, but to actually do them is a huge deal. And you do that, and it's amazing. And yes, I'm talking about like inspiring somebody else, but the person you inspire most with this is you. Like the person you serve the most with it is you. Like your life, because you prioritize this, is amazing for yourself. So this was your reading, pile 12. I really hope it resonated for you. Please leave me a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time. Thanks for coming by.